Yeah, so I remember I was in my room, and she was like, "Come eat. That's your last dinner with me." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And
Oh
then
God.
she was like, "It's already too late. Like I took them." And then I was just like, "What?" And I remember crying, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And then
Why would she do this to her
we
daughter?
went and had dinner, and then it was never talked about again.
I don't believe the daughter knew what was going on. LIEtecia brought her daughter on this Florida trip where LIEtecia discarded a suitcase over a bridge. And imagine, she doesn't even care if the daughter would even be involved in accessory, right? Like, because easily, police and law enforcement could be like, oh, maybe your daughter was involved in this as well. Your daughter came with you when you discarded the body, on this family trip or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I think like the daughter was there, and I think at some point she met up with her brother as well. Like, it just seemed like she didn't care who she was going to drag into this. It was just me, 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 me. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to testify. We all remember what happened with Alex Murdaugh. He was like, I'm going to testify because I'm going to be able to manipulate these jurors into believing my story. You could also be in denial. You don't want to believe that your flesh and blood, your mother, the woman that birthed you, murdered another child, right? That's something that's like hard to stomach. So I can totally, I could sympathize for her. The fact that like she defended her mom for years, but let's see where she's at right now.
Is when she took your car back and stopped providing you with funds.
Yes.
And you're in college, you're in nursing school, right?
Yes.
Were you working at the time?
Yes.
Now, when you made the post about losing both parents, what did you mean?
I lost both my parents. It was like one day you wake up and your whole life changed. I lost my stepdad, and I lost my mom and my brother. I lost everybody.
Oh. I wonder where her biological father is. Is he still in the picture, or is he not in the picture? Did he pass away? That's tough.
Were you trying to imply that your mom had died?
No.
Were you just stating the fact that she was arrested and you hadn't seen her since she's been arrested?
Yes.
Counsel asked you several questions about not smelling anything in the van. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did your mom?
I don't know, man. I'm looking at the daughter's testimony, right? I'm listening to it. And then I'm looking at fucking LIEtecia down there. Just look at LIEtecia. LIEtecia's just like, I don't know. Does this not get to her at all? Does she not feel any empathy towards her daughter? Is she just like, oh, her biological dad had passed away. Oh, her father passed away. No relationship with Al. She lost all parents. Al left the court after her and followed her out the court. Oh. I like the friendliness of Americans, but when I found out some Americans are habitual being nice and then say bad things when you're not there, I found that hurtful. I don't think it's an American thing. It's what people think. Okay, people be like that. I think it came out in trial that LIEtecia hid his overdose from Harley. The father overdosed? I'm 90% sure I'm destined to spend a very long time in Japan. I desperately need to visit. Yeah, Japan's great. Definitely save up money for it. Do it.
Mom do anything to prevent you from smelling anything in the van as you were driving?
Oh,
yes.
no.
She always kept the air on. I remember a time when I was cold and I tried to turn it off, and she was like, "No, it's hot in here." And we also like kept giving the dog like little like CBD treats to keep them calm.
And you're driving in
And like LIEtecia didn't even care how this would affect her daughter whatsoever, unless LIEtecia was really cocky and she didn't think she was going to get caught. She probably thought that she was going to get caught or something. I don't know. Even though the police was like on her trail like the very next day. I don't know. I don't understand how she would not even care how this would affect her daughter. Hello, we're driving in a van with my dead stepbrother in a suitcase. Like, that's going to mentally just mess with you. Stefan, thank you so much for the 129. I appreciate it. We should have the alert coming up soon. There you go. It's just a little bit delayed. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thanks for popping back in. She cared absolutely zero about her own daughter. Yeah, I'm also very curious to see what the dynamic is like between her and her daughter. Was LIEtecia a good mom to her daughter? Or was LIEtecia kind of just like meh, didn't really care about anyone, didn't really care about the kids or anything? Like, I'm just very curious because I think there were family members and her friends that were very surprised that LIEtecia was accused of this because I think they thought that she was a good stepmom or mom to her kids. She thought she can outsmart everyone. Man, when she got that fake polygraph test, oh, I don't know. There are some people that know they aren't very smart. I don't think LIEtecia's one of them. I think LIEtecia thought she was smart, even though she's not a very smart person. No, Harley said she did what Tisha said. Wait, what? Or Tisha would backhand her. Yeah, Tisha seems like the type of person who might be physically, who will get physical with her kids.
End of January, early February through Texas. Was it cold in Texas?
Oh yeah, that's right. It would
I don't
be
remember. It
cold.
wasn't like hot and sunny though.
Mr. Tellini asked you on cross-examination that you would have never dreamed that your mom would have done something bad to Gannon. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
What do you think about that now as you sit in this courtroom?
Oh no.
I'm still in shock. I defended her for years, and I just feel like manipulated and lied to.
Oh, that just sucks. Yeah. And imagine LIEtecia was probably lying to her own daughter. And the daughter's out there trying to fight the good fight, defend her mom. And then the daughter comes out and realizes, oh my God, there's so many evidence against her. I don't know. That's just really sad.
And when we started out your testimony this morning, you talked
definitely
about
something that's
learning
gonna scar
about how
you.
your father actually died. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about? The manipulation that's been going on for years is finally coming to your realization?
Yes.
And do you remember when you were talking to us back in August, the questions I was asking you about why we were considering filing charges on you?
Yes.
Do you remember me asking you, what would you explain to a jury about driving cross country with a body in a suitcase in the back of that van? What would you tell the jury? Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Tell this jury whether or not you knew that Gannon's body was back in that van and
Yeah,
why.
she didn't know.
The thought just never came across my mind. I just never thought my mom would do that. I didn't see her to be the person to do that. So I never even questioned it. It just never came up.
And what would happen if you did question it?
She would just.
How did LIEtecia explain away that the suitcase went missing? Because I'm assuming LIEtecia didn't throw the suitcase over the bridge in front of her family members. But did she have an explanation as to oh, hey, we bought the suitcase and now it's not with us on our return trip? What did she say? What did she tell them? Oh, I lost it. Oh, it got stolen. What did LIEtecia say? I'm very curious. What was her excuse for that? The brother's testimony was also very heartbreaking. He saw the suitcase with Gannon in it, asked if she needed help. Yeah, because apparently she was struggling with it, right? Because it was heavy. She said no, it's softball equipment. Oh, they had a truck full of suitcases. I'm not sure to what extent her daughter is even grasping her reality. She may need decades of therapy and definitely not just because of her mother being a murderer. Yeah, it's tough because we don't know what her childhood was like, right? With this type of mother.
They don't question me saying it was back talking her.
I don't know. I feel so bad for kids who have to grow up with parents like this. Not just murderous parents, but parents who are just manipulative like this to their kids.
Mr. Tellini was asking you questions about any relationships between the time your father and her separated and divorced by the time that she married Albert Stauch. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Did your mom date anybody or go out with anyone in between that time period?
Yes.
You remember who she went out with and for how long?
There was Travis.
LIEtecia has 10 different excuses and explanations for everything. Often, each of the explanations contradicting each other. I wonder if she was also a compulsive liar in her normal everyday life.
This.
Who's Travis?
Do you know Travis's last name?
No.
Wait, why are they bringing up Travis?
Do you know where you were living when she dated Travis?
Myrtle Beach.
And how long did they date?
It felt like a while. A year or two.
Mr. Cellini asked you about a hospitalization at some point. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
You initially said that you thought that your mom was in the hospital because she had cancer. You remember?
Yes.
Cancer?
Oh no, did she lie about having cancer? She was no doubt because Al accused her of manipulating Gannon like she did to him. The case number, someone saw her put in the suitcase. Her brother, I believe, he wanted to help. She declined. They had a truck full of suitcases. Suitcase was put in the truck when no one was with her, so no one even noticed.
Cancer?
Yes.
Who told you that your mom had cancer?
I remember her saying she had ovarian cancer when we lived in Charleston.
Who said that?
My mom.
Oh God, did she lie
And
about this?
was she telling you that because why? Why didn't she tell you that?
I don't know.
Were you asking what the heck you're doing in the hospital?
Yeah.
And her answer was, I have ovarian cancer.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what? Don't forget the LIEtecia Stauch's lies are pretty absurd because that lie that she came up with when apparently Gannon was homesick and LIEtecia had to stay home. What did she tell her employers? Instead of saying like, oh, my child is sick, I have to stay home and take care of them. She's like, no, my dad died. He got ran over by a car or something like that. Wasn't that the excuse? It was like my dad got ran over, or it was like my uncle got ran over. It was like something crazy like that. It was like, let's just off a family member. Okay, let's just off a family member and cover my butt. It was like, you could have just been like, hey, like I need to stay home. You know, like my child's feeling sick or I'm feeling sick. I don't know why she had to kill a family member in order to get off of work.
You ever bring up ovarian cancer again with
No.
She was probably too scared to.
Mr. Cellini asked you questions about suicides and your mom talking about suicide. Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
He asked you on 2 different events, right?
Oh, she left to get dog food, and that's when she got the suitcase. And her dad did die being ran over, but like 20 years prior. It's like, why even use up that lie?
Yes.
I want to know what's up with the ovarian cancer thing, though. Are we gonna have an explanation for that, or is it just gonna be like something we just touch upon?
Do you remember one of those events being in Alaska?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. How did that come up? What was said? What was the circumstances surround what was said?
Yeah, so I remember I was in my room, and she was like, come eat, that's your last dinner with me. And I was like, what do you mean? And
Oh,
then
God.
she was like, it's already too late, like I took them. And then I was just like, what? And I remember crying and I was like, what do you mean? And then
Why would she do this to her daughter?
we went and had dinner and then it was never talked about again.
And was this at a time when she was telling you that she didn't want to be in Alaska? She had nothing to do with Alaska, wanted to move from Alaska.
Yes.
What do you think about what she said to you now?
What do you mean?
Was that a form of manipulation, as you indicated earlier?
Yes.
My God, how old was she?
Did you-
I mean, it doesn't really matter because, like, you know, we know it was before 17, but like, Jesus. I'm curious to know if the daughter was like in her teens or if the daughter was like 7 years old or 9 years old. And remember the manipulation that we heard on the video recording or the tape recording when she was basically telling Gannon that like, oh, you spilled a candle on the carpet. Okay, well now the landlady's going to get mad. We need to sell things in order to make up for this. Should we sell the couch? What should we sell? Should we sell this? Should we sell that? It's like, why put this upon like a 9-year-old? She's just so sick.
You ever seen her try to hurt herself?
No.
And the other time she talked about suicide, was this related to the hospitalization that she said she was in for ovarian cancer?
Yes.
And you know what? I also wonder if she was very different with Al than she was with the kids. I wonder when she was with Al, she was like this perfect stepmother. Maybe he didn't get a whiff of her BS. I don't know.
Did you consider that to be a form of manipulation?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Mr. Cellini asked you questions about the cell phone and the cell phone text messages that are entered in People's Exhibit 205.
Have
You
we seen
remember
this
reading
before?
those, and it says for her phone, it says maybe Nicole.
Yes.
For yours, it says daughter. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you know why that says maybe Nicole?
No, I do not.
Do you know whether or not your mom actually programmed her name into the phone?
No, I do not.
Wait, what?
Are you familiar with iPhones and what comes up if you don't program it? with your name in there and things?
Do you mean like when you have to set the iPhone up?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So what happens if you never set the iPhone up with your name in there?
You can't use it.
Well, would your name come up?
Yes.
Or would it be something maybe? Would it be maybe somebody?
Objection. Sustained.
Okay.
I'm not sure that this is the right witness for that.
Do you know why that her phone said maybe Nicole in text messages?
No.
Sustained.
Oh, is it like when you don't save? Does it work that way? That you know, like sometimes we don't save people's phone number, and then like you have like the caller ID will sometimes be like, oh, maybe it's this person, maybe it's that person. Is that what it means? Is that what we're getting at? Oh, sustained. I don't think we're going forward.
We talked about your mom quitting jobs on several occasions, especially the teaching jobs. Do you remember that testimony on Cross?
Can't believe she was
Yes.
taking on teaching jobs, man.
Did she ever tell you why she was quitting these teaching jobs?
Yes.
She don't seem
What
like a
did she
patient
tell you?
person.
I was told that she wanted to work, and then when she would work, Albert would be mad at her that she wasn't watching the kids, and then when she would watch the kids and not be working, he would be mad at her for not working.
I wonder if that's true.
Did she ever mention to you that she was being sexually harassed at school and she didn't want to work there anymore, things like that?
I heard that when I was younger.
Who did you hear that from?
I don't know. I was in like middle or elementary school.
Did you hear it from your mom?
I don't remember.
Is that a common theme with your mom when she doesn't want to be somewhere? Something happens that is causing her to quit her job and move somewhere else.
It happened in Alaska.
Mr. Tonini asked you about January 26, 2020 in the morning and whether or not anyone went to church.
My niece has an iPad with her name registered. Hi, Snow Owl. So before I added her as a contact, I'm sure it would say maybe Reva when she messaged or FaceTime me. So maybe it's like that. That's what I'm thinking too, right? I just wasn't sure. The way he was asking it really confused me. Yes, but I don't use iPhones. That's what he's saying. I talked to a lady from LC whose kids was in class and what? And the kid said she was mean AF. I had a number of sociopaths and teachers in a very conservative school. It took me many years to get over the experiences. Oh gosh. There are some people where I'm just like, why are you a teacher? Why are you here? I remember in elementary school, we had some like teachers who were just like, they were just mean. It's like, if you don't like kids, why are you teaching kids? Dumbass, go get a job somewhere else. I don't know. Like there are some mean ass teachers.
Do you remember that question?
And I feel like it's really hard to like call them out because like one, you're a kid. And then like, you know, obviously when other teachers are around, they're going to be on their best behavior.
Yes.
Did you not, in fact, go to work in the afternoon around 2:00 in the afternoon that day?
Sorry, I'm like forgetting times. There's been so many times. Yes.
Let me ask you this. Would your mom drive a vehicle to church?
Yes.
And would it be either Albert's truck or her Tiguan that she drove to church?
Yes.
Would that be on one of the Ring videos in the neighborhood? If they actually went to church that day, you'd see the vehicles leaving and going to church.
Yes.
Do you remember changing your clothes on January 27th, 2020, when you got off of work and then went to the Dollar Tree with Lena?
No, I don't remember.
If you went down to the basement,
Oh, and not only that, I forgot. The mom texted the daughter to get cleaning supplies the day that Gannon was murdered. Jesus. I
you
actually
went-
forgot about that.
Would you go into Gannon's room for any reason?
No.
Go into the storage room for any reason?
No.
My mom had an abusive teacher. She pushed a desk over with my mom on top of it. On top of my mom. Those were early 70s. Dude, in Thailand, I don't think they do this anymore, but in Thailand, teachers were allowed to hit kids. So what they would do is they would get like a switch and just like hit the kids. I remember my mom said she would like stuff like newspaper in her underwear or something like that. So like if she got hit, she wouldn't feel it. Like, Jesus.
Went to the basement, would you just go to your room, change, and then go back up?
Correct. Yes.
Did you ever go into Gannon's room on January 27th, 2020?
No.
Did you ever go into the storage room on that day?
Online VR education. I don't know, man. I feel like there's it's just something different having like real life person to person interaction. Maybe as like, a supplement, but like, nah, you gotta get your ass to school.
No.
You have some awkward kids, some horrible socialization, I feel like.
Mr. Toomey was asking you questions about the Taco Bell and after the hospital. Remember, he was asking about the voice that your mother was telling you these things about rambling and words to that effect. You remember that?
Yes.
Was she telling you why she left the hospital?
Yeah, she was. I remember something being mentioned about the hospital workers and like the story of what happened.
Was she explaining that she was being treated unfairly and she actually ran away from the hospital?
I remember her saying she was treated unfairly.
Is that why you had to go pick her up at a Taco Bell instead of the hospital?
Yes.
Did she tell you that?
Which part?
Why you had to pick her up at the Taco Bell?
Wait, why was she at a Taco Bell?
I
Sorry.
don't remember.
Your mom is quite the talker. When she starts talking, she goes nonstop, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Is
She's
that
a
what we're
yapper.
talking about?
Yes.
Was that unusual to you? Have you seen her on numerous occasions basically talk nonstop?
Yes.
I feel like LIEtecia, she kind of looks less bored. I feel like she's actually listening. She's kind of paying attention.
Did you ever, whether it's January 27th or January 28th or January 29th, clean up any blood at 6627 Mandan Drive?
No, I did not.
If you had, would you have been telling this jury that?
Yes.
Did you ever see any blood on Gannon's wall in his bedroom?
No, I did not.
Did you see any blood in the storage room on the floor?
No, I did not.
Did you see any blood in the basement area at all?
No, I did not.
Could you smell any cleaning down in the basement?
Was she diagnosed with DID before? I have no idea. I don't know if she even ever went to therapy. I don't know.
Our house always smelled clean.
Why is that?
My mom was like a neat freak, so she always wanted everything clean.
If you would have known Gannon's body was in the back of that van when you were talking to Agent Owen back here.
No, prosecutor, go back to the
Yes.
microphone.
You would have known that he was in that van when the FBI came out to South Carolina to talk to you about Gannon's body being found on March 17th, 2020. Would you have told him that?
Yes.
Do you know now that Gannon's body was in that van as you drove across the country?
Yes.
Was your mom pretty athletic?
Yes.
Was she capable of lifting heavy objects?
Yes.
Overruled.
Do you know how much Gannon weighed?
He was little, so he didn't weigh a lot.
60 pounds, 80?
Was your mom capable of carrying his body in a suitcase, picking it up and throwing over a bridge rail in Pensacola, Florida?
Yes.
Is that easy for you to say?
No.
You still love your mother? I'll strike that, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for me? Looks like we have a couple. Mr. Young, if you would retrieve those in counsel approach, please.
I think it was a good question for the jurors, like to be able to witness that. Yeah, really, really sad and tough for her. I'm glad that he withdrew the question though, instead of standing there waiting for her to reply, right? Ah, the lawyer giving LIEtecia a pat on her back. She ain't need it. Hi, Anna. How are you doing today? How's it going? Yeah, I hope that her daughter doesn't have to testify ever again for her mom. I seriously doubt LIEtecia Stauch's going to have any family impact statements on her behalf. I wish we could find a remote uninhabited island, drop LIEtecia, Lori there together. Who do you think would out-survive each other, Lori or LIEtecia? Hi, Joe. What's going on? Happy afternoon? Wait, why did I say happy afternoon? Happy afternoon. Hi, Tam Jules. Hello, hello. Hi, Corgi and the crew. I hope everyone is good. Hello, hello. I hope she would get state-funded therapy. You know what? That would be great. I don't know if that's a thing, though. But that would be great. I think, is she still in nursing school? Yeah. I wish therapy was free for everyone. I'm not sure, but I'm happy to let nature take its course with both of them. Which island, though? Let's see. You guys watch Mr. Ballin? Mr. Ballin has pitched a couple of like crazy islands. There's an island of like poisonous, ravenous snakes. There's an island of like Komodo dragons. There's an island of these like giant crabs that can like break your bones with their claws. Which island would we choose? Tisha would have run circles with Lori around her craziness. All right, can we just we'll throw Sarah Boone in there too. I know Sarah Boone is, has her trial's coming up soon, and you're supposed to presume innocent before guilty. But let's just throw Sarah Boone in there just because she's a dickhead. Okay. Good evening. Hi, Daniela. How are you doing today? The one.
Ms. Hunt, did you see a large green suitcase loaded into the second van?
No.
Who's asking questions? Hey, there's no one there at the microphone.
The night when your mom asked, sorry, Jess, the night when your mom asked you to go down with her to say goodnight to Gannon, do you have a specific recollection of seeing any part of his body, like his hands, face, or any part of his actual skin?
I remember seeing his head.
Wait, when?
The morning of the first day in Pensacola, Florida, when you left the hotel, do you recall if the van was in a different parking spot?
Oh, juror questions. Oh. Hi, Mimi. How are you doing today? How's it going? Wait, okay, hold on. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Let's listen.
The night when your mom asked, sorry, Jess. The night when your mom asked you to go down with her to say goodnight to Gannon, do you have a specific recollection of seeing any part of his body, like his hands, face, or...
Oh, man, I wonder... Why was she trying to get Harley to go down to say goodnight to Gannon? Did he respond? See, that's what I'm thinking. I feel like she hurt Gannon the night before. I'm not saying that like she murdered him the night before, but I think she seriously hurt him the night before. As proof of life. Jesus.
Or any part of his actual skin.
I remember seeing his head.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the only reason why we believe that Gannon was still alive the next day was because there was a neighborhood camera footage that showed LIEtecia and what looked like might have been Gannon because it would have been like same size. Might have looked like someone that was like getting into the car. And I remember one of the reporters mentioned that something fell out of the car, and it seems like the smaller person was hesitant about bending down and pick it up because maybe they were injured. And bending down to pick something up just seems to be a very arduous task at the time. But we didn't see Gannon, though, on the way back on the camera footage. But they said that, like, they are confident that he made it back home, but just not for some reason on the footage. I don't know. Oh, jeez.
The morning of the first day in Pensacola, Florida, when you left the hotel, do you recall if the van was in a different parking spot than where you had parked it when you checked in?
I don't remember.
So let me rephrase that a little bit. So when you got there, the van's parked and you check in. You come out the next morning. Is it in the same spot or in a different spot?
don't remember where we parked. I just know we like would always park towards the back of the hotel.
Okay. During your time living in Colorado Springs home with the other kids, Gannon and Lena, did it appear to you that Gannon was treated more strict or more unfair than anyone else by the defendant, your mom?
No.
All right.
Maybe she was a dick to everyone equally and fairly.
I will allow reasonable follow-up as to those questions only. Prosecution?
We would request to publish People's Exhibit 48.
That's right. I remember hearing about the medical examiner finding drugs in Gannon's system.
Already into evidence. Ms. Hunt, if you can look at the TV screen.
What is that?
This is
Suitcase?
People's Exhibit 48. Do you recognize the suitcase that we see in that exhibit?
Yes.
How do you recognize that suitcase?
I remember it from like moving from like Alaska or anytime we would move.
Had you ever seen that during the time periods that we've been talking about? January 27th, January 28th, January 29th, all the way up to February 4th.
No.
Those are my questions.
Defense? Right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Hunt. You may step down.
Oh man, I hope she never
Watch your
has to
step.
testify up here for against her mom. Oh.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, poor Harley.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end a little bit early today.